Okay, guys, I'm so happy you guys are here. I see some new faces and my favorite older faces. Okay, so sorry for the repeat, but I feel like Kabbalah 1 is something that I personally take every year. And every time I hear it, it touches me differently. And I'm sure it does for you guys too. And I just wanted to start with telling you guys I'm so grateful that there's an audience for this, because this is the basis of what we need to do. Nothing else is as important as having this foundation. Everything is consciousness. And I also want to preface this, as always, just because I'm teaching, please don't think it means that I've mastered this. It's always a work in progress. And I feel like my tikkun that I am put in a place to teach this is because my struggle is that much bigger. So I just wanted to put that out for everyone. Okay, so we're gonna start with what is Kabbalah. So Kabbalah, for those who are new, is a universal law of how the spiritual realm works. Kabbalah came before religion, okay? It came with Abraham when he wrote a book called Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation. Sefer Yetzirah there's a seat for you right here, my love. Is a 3-page book, and in that book has all the mysticism and wisdom in the world. So the energy behind this is, just like in the physical world, we understand that there's laws that we're bound by. There's a spiritual blueprint that exists that we're not all privy to. And if we were, we would understand the cause and effect of the universe so much more. We kind of feel like, excuse me, but it happens, whatever. Life is random, sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's a bad day, sometimes I'm doing well with my spouse, sometimes I'm doing poorly, sometimes business is up, sometimes it's down. We feel like it's random. But when we understand the spiritual laws of the universe, we realize that there is cause and effect, and we are co-creators in this. So some people say, oh, I don't believe in Kabbalah. And the example that I give, it's like someone saying, I don't believe in gravity, right? Whether you believe in it or not, it's there. You're not gonna jump out of a balcony and say, I don't believe in gravity. Gravity will take over. So this is why we're studying this Kabbalah. So I want you guys to all think of a challenge that you went through, a recent challenge, something that taught you a lesson and that may have been slightly painful, like a painful way to learn a lesson. Okay, we're gonna take 30 seconds, just share this with the person next to you. A lesson you learned, something painful in the lesson you learned. Maybe someone betrayed you and so now you know not to be trusted. Maybe whatever. Okay. So Kabbalists explain that there is this universal light force, this universal energy, okay, that emanates through the world, and it comes from the Creator, okay? This energy I'm going to refer to as light. So what is this energy? This energy is that gut feeling that you get. Sometimes you're somewhere, you meet someone, or you just have this instinct. What is that? What are you tapping into? What are you feeling, right? It's that same energy that keeps the electron floating around the atom, right? It's the same energy that when a sperm and egg meet, all of a sudden there's a human being like that talks and has, consciousness. How is that? What's happening? So scientists know that this energy exists, but they don't have a name for it. They don't know what to call it, okay? In Kabbalah, they call it light, okay? It's the energy that radiates from the Creator, okay? So what do we want in life? What are we chasing? We're all here because there's something we feel like we want more of. Maybe we want more peace of mind. Maybe we want more sanity. Maybe we want more health. Maybe we want peace of mind around money. We don't want to be anxious about it. We don't want it to be here one day and not the next day. Maybe it's about your relationships. Whatever it is, we want something. Kabbalah comes from the word lekabel, which means, our Israelis, to receive. From the moment a baby's born, it cries. Why? It wants something. Our motivation as humans, right? We're always chasing. We always want something. What is it that we want? Right? Is it the new car? What happens after you have a new car after a few months? The first day? Yeah. What do we say? We say the novelty wore off. What does that mean? The car's the same. What happens with your new pair of shoes after a few weeks, a few months, whatever it is for each person? It's not exciting anymore. Did the shoe change? Did the purse change? Did your car change? Your ability to tap into the energy behind the object changed. Think about when you got married. You were so excited. How's it going now?
Not excited.
What changed? What changed?
You just get used to
Your ability to receive
Yeah.
the energy from that changed. Okay, so everything we're looking for is that energy behind something. So the Kabbalists say, don't chase colors, right? And I'm going to explain what that means. When you have a light and it goes through a prism, right? What happens? It turns into rainbow, right? We all understand that all the colors of the rainbow are all encompassed in that white light, correct? Does everybody knows that? So imagine if each color, one color is mental clarity, one color is happiness, one color is financial freedom, one color is health, right? When Kabbalists say don't chase colors, what they're explaining is if you're chasing those individual things, you're always chasing. The way to get everything is to connect to the light. You connect to the white light. So what are we connecting to? We're connecting to the source that radiates that energy. We're connecting to the Creator. So what we're going to be learning in the next 10 weeks is how to transform ourselves so that we could receive this energy, okay? Because once you have that white light, you have everything. I'm going to explain something called that Kabbalists call the 1% and the 99, okay? When we look at the world, we understand that we're limited by our senses, right? Like we know that there's so much more that our eyes don't see. We see the color spectrum. But if you remember from science class, you have like all these different like red waves and UV rays and violet waves and radio waves and microwaves and all these things, these Wi-Fi things that are floating. We don't see it. It doesn't mean it's not there, right? So what they explain is the world that we're in, we're playing this game on this physical realm. It's the 1% world. It's not reality. What we want to do is shift our consciousness and play this game, be in life in the realm of the 99, in the realm of the tree of life, in the realm of the light. When you do things, operate on that level, okay? So I'm throwing these terms out, so as we layer it, you have a basis. We're good? Okay. Okay, so here's the next question. If we're here to receive that energy, that fulfillment, and we're meant to receive it, why aren't we born with it? Why aren't we born with it? If God really wants me to have all the happiness and fulfillment and whatever, why am I not born with it?
We wouldn't appreciate it.
as much. If you, like putting in a little bit of effort makes you appreciate things. Like when you just receive them naturally, you don't know what it feels like to be without.
Exactly. So we're here to work to receive it. Okay, we're born as vessels. Our souls are vessels, and we're here to connect to the light. So how do we connect? How do we connect to that light, to that endless? How do we connect to that source of fulfillment? It goes to the law of affinity, right? Do you remember that? Like attracts like. So in order to draw down the light and connect to the light, you have to act like the light, okay? What does that mean? Who can tell me about light? What does a light do? A light is sharing. It's giving, right? We're gonna learn more about that. The light emanates, it shares, it gives. It's proactive rather than reactive. It is the cause and not the effect. So in your life, let's give an example. Let's say you're in Whole Foods and someone has their shopping cart. This is a small, easy one, and they bang you and it hurts the back of your ankles, right? What would be a proactive, like the light way to handle that situation?
It's okay. Like, tell the person, like, the upstairs, it's okay.
Yeah. What would be a reactive way?
Watch where you're going.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is reactive? Reactive is any thought, action, or speech that comes from lack, that disconnects you from the light. We only have two realities, right? Your first reality is you're plugged in to source. You're plugged into the light. Your second reality is you're disconnected. That's all there is, okay? So every time you're in that moment of, you want to switch, okay? You don't want to come from, she must have done it on purpose. I'm having a bad day. You want to not suppress, but recognize, feel those feelings. Yeah, that hurts. That sucks. And now you're going to operate on a higher level. What I tell my kids is every single time that you transform from that feeling of reactivity to proactivity, it's like spiritual money is going into your bank account. To the point where when they were younger, and I still do this with Elijah, I say to him, your sister's pissing you off. You're about to punch her and you hold back. Ching, 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 ching. I'm like, you're gonna do better on your basketball game. You're gonna be happier. You're gonna, whatever it is, your homework will be easier. Like on his level, for him to understand that the blessings come when you transform your nature, okay? The only free will we have is in that moment when you're tested. So when we say, why did this happen? Why did that happen? All of these are opportunities for us, right? And the bigger the opportunity, the bigger the light behind it. Okay, so I'm gonna give an example. Let's say someone says, I have a $125,000 lawsuit. Sucks, right? But what is that? That's a test. What comes behind that perceived challenge? Depending on how you act in that moment when you feel fear, lack, confusion, doubt, frustration, are you connecting to the physical 1%? Or do you recognize that this is from the Creator? It's here for my good. There must be blessings behind it. And the only thing that matters is how you act now, okay? That's your free will. It's almost as if your entire life, your purpose was for these moments, right? I'll give another example. We missed our flight. Not that we missed it. Our flight was delayed multiple times and then canceled. So we basically spent 24 hours in an airport coming back from Cabo this week, right? And I could see people, it's frustrating. I'm with kids, like my whole day got ruined. My husband's patients had to be rescheduled. It's frustrating. The way you handle that moment, right? Are you gonna yell at the flight attendant? Or let me take it even a step further. Let's say you're standing behind somebody in line and you're buying a pack of gum and you're late for your flight. and the person in front of you is counting pennies before they pay for their thing, and you're looking and you're like, oh my God, and you want to say to that person, hurry up, right? That moment, your test, who cares about your flight? Who cares about that important business meeting that you're gonna have and you're gonna miss it? What matters more is in that moment when you're feeling panic, lack, fear, insecure, how you handle it.
Just leave the gum and go.
It depends on the consciousness. It all depends on your consciousness.
I would do that.
If you're leaving it, sometimes you leave it out of,
I've done that before.
Yeah,
I
done
would
it.
pay
No,
for the
seriously,
person
I've
in
done
front
it.
of me. I'll say I'll cover it, I'll pay.
when you're doing it out of fear,
I don't want it. I'm just gonna go. Like, I'm too late. I can't.
No, but sometimes it's not healthy when you swallow your anger.
not saying swallow it, feel it, acknowledge it, create that space and recognize it's from the creator and rise above it. Don't act on the physical realm. Get to the next part. So if it's here, take a deep breath, whatever you need to do, practice. The secret that I'm going to tell you, who remembers from class 1? What do? Pause. So in that moment, you pause. What's the next sentence?
Invited.
What is-
What a
What am I
Pleasure.
saying?
what a pleasure. What and why are we saying what a
What a
pleasure?
pleasure this lady in front of me.
Yes. What a pleasure. Because the only way that you're going to shift your reality, and every time you do this, what you're doing is you're going into a new parallel universe where your life is sweeter, your husband is sweeter, your job is sweeter, you have more contentment, things work out easier. And that jump, that shift in your universe only happens every time you have a challenge and you rise. Okay? If you have a challenge and you're like, what happened? You downgraded. What happens when we pray for no challenges? You're praying to not jump universes. You're praying to not have more in your spiritual bank account, right? It's like someone saying, oh, I'm going to pray not to lift more weights. You want those weights, right? You want that challenge, right? And I'm going to go so far as to before we were born, okay? Your soul, before it came in this world, saw your parents, saw the life that it would have. And based on the correction, the things that your soul needed to learn, it said, you know what? I could see if I'm born into this life, that life, that life. It saw everything and it chose. It's like a matching system. The soul of the unborn baby chooses the parents. The soul of the parents had to choose the baby too. It's like a whole complicated algorithm that matches, okay? Like the most complex algorithm. It knew what's gonna happen. And it said, you know what? I know I'm gonna come into this life and I'm gonna have bad parents, bad friends, whatever, difficulty in whatever. We have 2 amazing people here who are helping on the front lines. I'm gonna have trouble with, in Israel. This is gonna happen. They saw everything and they said, this is the path where I'm gonna learn what I need to learn the best. Is it gonna be easy? No, but we didn't sign up for easy, right? We need to be excited for those challenges because that's where we're gonna get that spiritual money, that spiritual bank, those blessings. Any questions?
Yeah, so if you're feeling the anger and the frustration, then the key is to process it internally or bypass it.
No, you're not bypassing it because we don't want to
Processing
suppress.
it internally.
What you suppress is gonna come up, okay? You'll find another way. We don't want to be passive aggressive about it. You want to work through it, okay? So,
So if I'm thinking I want to turn back and yell at the lady, that's okay to think it.
yeah,
But
until you shift your thoughts.
And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
but then I
Yeah,
just-
yes, let me give you an example.
in the physical,
Yes.
I don't.
I can't
do
stand
that.
noises. Okay, I'm very sensitive to noises. So what's my tikkun? What's my correction? What happens? I'm always around somebody who's okay. There's always like this happening. Okay, wherever I go, there's someone near me making a mouth noise. They breathe loud. always, right? And I sit there and I just want to be like, can you not chew your gum like that? Or I want to get up and move away. But anything that I do like that, I'm reacting to them. I am the effect. I'm not the cause, right? So I sit there and I'm like, thank you that this is my challenge.
What a pleasure.
What a pleasure. What a pleasure that I get to be challenged in this small way. You know, there are bigger challenges to overcome it. Whatever you need to do, breathe through it, whatever, you'll learn those tricks as we move along. Good? Okay. So we said the first quality of the creator, we said is like attracts like, and that the creator is a proactive force. We said the definition of reactive behavior is any thought, word, or action that comes from fear, lack, in order to get instant gratification. We also said that you need to earn it, right? So the light will send you tests to awaken the fear in you. So what happens? Because I don't like noises, that's gonna come up over and over and over, so I could correct that inside of me. It's not a punishment. God's not mad at me. He's giving me an opportunity for me to work on this issue and transform it. And every time I struggle with it, even if I'm not perfect, that effort that you put in, okay, it's physical and it's spiritual effort, knocks you up to your next level of destiny. It gets you closer to whatever it is, okay? Whatever, like the fulfillment, the money, the clarity, the peace of mind, you'll sleep better. When you're reactive, and I'm gonna go as far as to say, there are times when someone's like, I'm so stressed, I don't know how to handle it, I'm just gonna have a glass of wine, right? What are you doing in those situations?
You're masking.
You're bypassing. You're getting light. And I'm not saying don't drink. We should always drink, but you should drink when you're happy. You're not drinking to run away from the problem because it will follow you. It will chase you. It's not going to go away, right? If it's a small crutch to help you get through it or whatever, fine. But recognize it. Do it with consciousness. When people use drugs or they drink or whatever it is that they do, what's happening? You're getting light from those things. That's why we do it. It feels good. But that light is immediate gratification. It's like a strobe light. It's the same way you feel when you yell at the person in front of you who's taking a long time at the supermarket. I saw it, this poor flight attendant. We came from a wedding. The whole flight was Persians and Israelis. So could you imagine what the guy went through when they had to cancel it? He had like 1 million people yelling at him. Why did those people yell? Did they think the airplane's gonna show up? Why did they yell? Why do we yell? It feels good. Why? Because you're stealing light. You're getting light. You're stealing it. It's immediate gratification. You get a burst of it, and then it's black. It's like a strobe light. You end up darker than when you started. And that's what happens when people use different drugs. They feel good for a minute, and then you're lower, and then you need more.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask something, the flip side?
Yeah.
So some people feel the light on the opposite. So instead of yelling, like giving compliments or lifting.
Yes.
Is that?
Michoran. They eat themselves. Is that what you're meaning?
No, I'm saying like.
Oh, false flattery.
I feel good when I compliment somebody. Okay. Am I stealing light? Is that?
If you're doing it out of fear, lack, like I want them to like me.
No, it's like even a stranger, let's say.
But if you have to think why you're doing it. Everything is consciousness. If you're doing it for them to like you, you're stealing light.
No, somebody I may never see it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's
As long as as long as your consciousness is one to make them feel good and you're not taking anything. Like even me teaching this class, right? Or whenever I speak, if I'm thinking to myself, are they gonna like me? How's it gonna go? Once I get in that mindset, I lost because I'm stealing from my crowd. So the consciousness has to be, as I'm teaching, the only thing that I'm trying to do is connect to source. To create an open channel that whatever needs to be said, doesn't matter what I prepared, whatever needs to be said comes out as a channel for everyone who needs it. Make sense? I'm gonna now compare it to what my teammates are doing, okay, and what we're doing with Israel. let's say you have the best of intentions and you're trying to get helmets to Israel, right? If your consciousness is not the right consciousness while you're doing it, the helmet won't get there, the helmet will malfunction, whatever will happen if you're smiling. If your consciousness is not where it needs to be, connected to source, that's the only connection, it won't work out. And on the flip side, when you are connected, okay, whatever happens, will work out. Will work out. And we see this with things like spontaneous remission. We see these things where these crazy miracle stories where like you hear all the time, the bullet past the heart, like what happened?
It's because of that person's soul. And
Whatever the soul of there's a lot that goes on, but to keep it simple, there's some energy force there. Yes. You were going to say something?
That's what's going on since October 7th.
Yeah.
It seems like there was like a 4-year dormant period due to COVID. And the things that emerged from October 7th with a lot of people, specifically lionesses, I call them, is they just burst into these connecting to the light, and everything just kind of
It flows.
It flows on its own. It doesn't cease to amaze me, but it flows. It's something that now at this point you go, thank you, yes, so I can continue. It just kind of comes in. So that's what you need to do is
To flow. So when they say there's like a whole book on flow, right? What is that? What does that mean that you're in flow? It means you're connected to the 99. You're connected to source. You're connected to the tree of life. You're not operating on the physical level, right? The second you think to yourself that that stuff came from you, it's done. It's not you. It's not. You're just a channel. In every aspect of your life, we're just channels. And what a merit to be able to be that channel. But you didn't do anything to do, you know what I mean? It's yeah? It's not sitting well with you.
Is it a part of, because I have like this ego, is it a part of your ego?
Correct.
It's not that's prohibiting you? Okay.
The ego is, I'm offended. They didn't invite me. How could they? They didn't reply to my text. They didn't reply to my email, right?
Just always
That,
thinking about yourself.
but what is that? That's lack, right? That's lack. You don't need anything from anybody. Just source. If you're connected to source, it doesn't matter if they replied to you or not. You're full.
Yeah.
And it's not lip service. You're full. You're full.
What about if it's about your career?
Okay?
How do you connect to light? Like, don't you want to be recognized for what you do at work?
You don't do things to be recognized. You do it to do it.
To do it for what? For yourself?
For myself?
What is your purpose? Your purpose is to what? It has to always be greater. It can't.
But not volunteer work. I'm talking about your career.
Open it up. Give me an example.
Okay, I'm working at a pharmacy and it's really tough and patients are screaming. Well, the thing that keeps me going is, you got this, you're doing this, you have this, you're helping people, you're trying.
Okay, so when you're saying you got this, you're saying to yourself, you have the strength to go through what you need to go through. You're not doing this for everyone to come and say, ooh, Massa, you did it. That's not at all what you're doing it for.
No.
You're doing it because the vehicle, when we have a job, okay, like for instance, you're a pharmacist. What does that mean? That's not your life's goal. It's through your act of being a pharmacist that challenges are gonna come up unique to you for you to practice, pause, and connect to source.
But it's okay to praise yourself when you're down at work?
If you wanna say,
Or is that not
no,
connecting
it's
to
fine.
life?
If you wanna say, for instance, I went through a tough, few weeks where I would tell myself, great, you sat there with your child having a meltdown and you didn't. Yeah,
So that's okay.
great. But you're not, it's from a different place. You're acknowledging the physical and spiritual effort you're putting to for your growth. Not, look what I did. Look at my words on the wall.
I see. Okay.
Okay, we're not,
Thanks for
Yeah.
clarifying. Okay.
yeah, we're good?
Lishma v'shelo lishma,
Exactly.
right? Lishma for the sake of doing and not for
Yes.
the sake of doing.
Yes.
An example you mentioned is when we started, it was for the sake of doing. Things flew beautifully. We had a period of time of 3 weeks that we said, let's actually hire someone as an actual paid role. For these 2-3 weeks, things didn't flow. Once that was not a good situation, we let it go, things started flowing.
Wow.
Just like that. In a
Wow.
second.
Why do you think?
Because it became lo lishma. All of a sudden, someone is getting compensated for something that is for the sake of helping. And when that was removed from the equation, back again, things started flowing. It was very clear.
Very, right? Isn't that amazing?
You have a path, and when you're connected, you feel it. Your gut feeling tells you if you're going in the right direction, and if you're not, you're gonna get a little. It's like a correction on the lane correction on a Tesla, on a car. You're going straight. The car thinks you're swerving to the right. It's gonna give you a little pat on the back to just kind of move in the right direction. If you don't listen to those, they're gonna be a little harder.
Yes. I'm going to piggyback on what you said because you said job. Sometimes, like in all areas of life, but you said career, so I'm going to bring that up. We feel like maybe, I don't know, the pharmacist next to me is doing a better job than I am, or you were trying to get a promotion and you lost it to somebody else. Those things bring up fear, lack in us. So what is human nature? You try to manipulate the situation. You try to, make yourself look better. Anything that you do when you feel that way is disconnecting from the light. So I just wanted to say that part, and then I wanted to go to the next part. We all come here, right, with things that we have to learn. Like I said, your soul comes with like a suitcase, right? Some people have a cream one, some people have a little fanny pack, some people have a red bag. Everybody has baggage. Okay? And you carry this from lifetime to lifetime. All right? And when you're in this world, the world is designed like that movie that I told you guys to see last class. What was it last round?
Truman Show, right?
Was it the Truman where they purposely try to piss him off?
Yeah.
Right? It's like when you go to the dentist. You go to the dentist and the dentist is touching all your teeth, and then all of a sudden they touch that one and you're like, ow, what happened? That's where your cavity is. Do you say to the dentist, I'm not coming to you anymore? You touched my cavity? No. That's your contract with the dentist. You pay, he fixes, he touches your cavity. You don't say, I'm gonna find a new dentist that doesn't touch my cavities. No. That's what we're here for. All the people and situations around us are perfectly designed to touch our cavities for our growth. Okay? You're cold. You want a blanket? So, for instance, let's say some people are like my mom died when I was young. Okay? So someone might say, oh, she has abandonment issues because her mom died when she was young. No. I was born. My tikkun, my correction was fear of abandonment. Because of that, my soul picked a life in which my mom would die when I'm young, right? In which whatever, the fear of abandonment is gonna be touched on over and over and over until I work on it. And that's the same with everybody. If you have a competitive edge, maybe someone has jealousy, maybe somebody has, I don't know, whatever it is for you, everybody has it unique to them.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What happens when you complete that? You fix that. You heal that.
I was just thinking.
Then a new harder challenge comes about, or something else you need.
It's
to work
like,
on?
first of all, it's
Do
like
you
an,
ever heal it?
it's like an onion. There's so many layers. So as soon as you feel like done, it's like playing video games, right? You beat Mario, whatever it is. I don't play video games. You beat level 1. What happens? Level 2, level 3. Each level is harder because you're on another level. But yes, you have different tikkuns. So you're working on all of them. You know, here's my noise. It's a test.
Seriously, like,
It's a test.
sometimes I feel like, oh, okay, God, are you testing me again?
Hi, Maya.
I feel like it also well, I don't know if it morphs or you morph, but
Both.
Oh, both. But like, I thought I was. You mean you know mine? But I was over like my main one, and then I realized last night that I wasn't, and I was like, oh, why did I react like that? But it was like in a different, intense way where I couldn't. At that moment, I couldn't avoid it. So
And then what happened afterwards?
I apologized.
Sometimes the test is not really the situation. Sometimes the test is the guilt and remorse and perseverating that we do after the fact. Because every moment that you're sitting there saying, and I do this, we all do this. Why did I talk like that? Why didn't I do it this way?
No, I was avoiding it all day and trying not to give in, and then I gave in. But as I was getting angry, I was like, oh no, okay, actually I'm sorry, no, that wasn't right of me to do. And I realized it, but I had spent the whole day already obsessing over it and trying not to let it get to me, but it did. And it was in a different way than it usually presented itself. I think that's why I didn't recognize it sooner.
It's the leveling up, right? It's
Yeah.
the algorithm got smarter.
Yes.
It's that AI.
Yeah. It was like level 100.
Yeah. Okay, well, what does that say about your growth?
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna just make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't want to keep you guys longer than an hour. Okay, so we said that the only free will you have is in that moment of difficulty. Okay, and you have two choices. You choose to be like the light, okay, and level up, or you're reactive and you level down. Okay, so that's your only free will. When you level up, I really want you guys to imagine your spiritual bank account. Imagine whatever, your children are gonna marry like the president of the United States, or like they'll be the president, or whatever it is. Just imagine whatever blessings that you want, that's what's coming, fulfillment from your relationship. And then imagine when you don't pass those tests, anxiety, lack, fear, all the things that you're avoiding. So use that as, not as fear, but as momentum, because in that moment, sometimes it's so easy in class to be like, yeah, proactive. And then the time comes, and I hear this with people, and they're like, but this is different. This I gotta yell at them for, right? We hear that. So in those are those moments. It's those moments where you feel that you're leveling up, that you're making that decision. And that is the only free will you have. Everything else is like you're entering into a movie theater, like a Cineplex theater that has like, imagine infinity, whatever, 50 movies, all starring you. Your only free will is to change out of that theater and go to the next one with each of your decisions. Yes.
That's what I was saying.
Yes. Otherwise, it's scripted. So if I'm watching Titanic, I can't say, whatever, don't get on the ship. That movie has an ending, right? I can't change the characters. What I can do is I could say, I'm gonna leave this movie and go to another movie. How do you do that? Every time you're proactive. Every time you're connecting to source. You're changing your destiny. Okay? Yeah.
This is new. You said we have like this fulfillment or a goal, right? That we want to receive by connecting to the light.
Yeah.
So it's okay to wake up every day and say, my goal is to connect to the light in order to receive this. That's not being, that's not like cheating. I don't know.
If you want to start it that way, sure. But your end result is not to get.
So,
like I'm not saying I'm gonna be proactive so I could have, I don't know, nicer teacups.
So you said something about your child marrying.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do we use that? This is throwing me off.
Think about the blessings, like
In that moment, in the pause moment.
If that helps you,
Okay.
think about the blessings that come when you're connected to source, whatever that means to you.
Okay, got it.
Right? To everybody, it's different. Maybe to someone, it's peace of mind, whatever it is. But it's not a 1-for-1. So the other thing that I wanted to say is if you feel like your career, your relationship with your spouse, whatever it is, you're only getting 25%. That's because you're only 25% connected to source. Okay? If you feel like you're attracting people that are 5% connected, that's because you're 5% connected. When we say, okay, you attract people on your level, what it means is the more connected you are to source, okay, the more consciousness you have. You're gonna attract people who have that level of consciousness, that vibration, okay? So when people are like, oh, it doesn't matter who I'm with, they're good people, they're great people. But you want to elevate your consciousness, so you attract people on a higher consciousness, and then you're just vibrating, you're in flow.
So is it like expected that once you are practicing this, like you gravitate towards people,
your
like
whole
circle
life
can
is
change.
gonna change, and that's okay. We have this notion, I feel like, in the Persian community, where we feel like, oh, it's my childhood friend. You could love them to death and wish them well, and it's okay. You don't have to be with them every single second of the day. It's okay, right?
Yeah.
We can allow that fluidity.
But it also naturally happens, like people come into your life randomly, right? That
Right,
are like
yes.
that serve the purpose
Yes.
for what you need as you're growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you notice certain people don't fit where you want to be, do you have to make a conscious effort to?
I want to shy away from saying anything on that. You're gonna feel that out yourself. You'll feel it yourself.
But I feel like everything is effort in those types of things. It's where your energy, where you put your energy, right?
Yeah.
So you have to.
We're going to talk in the future classes that everything you do has to have physical energy and spiritual energy, right? You can't just sit, like if I said, ooh, I'm going to sit on a mountain and meditate all day, I'm so spiritual, right? But it's funny. But why is that funny? It's funny because it's so easy to be spiritual on a mountain or on the beach by yourself, right? What happens when you introduce one more person? Right? Now you have those triggers. Now that's when you're spiritual. That's when you have the opportunity. There's no opportunity on the beach by yourself. Okay, so we touched upon this a little bit. Okay, so accept the process. So you have the soul by Azizam. You have the soul and you have your body, the ego. What you're doing when you're pausing, okay, the mechanism is you're actually moving aside that physical part of your body and you're allowing your soul to connect to source. That is the power of the pause. Okay, this is my favorite example, and then we're gonna be done. Okay, so imagine Julie. Do you guys remember Julie from the last two classes? I love Julie. Julie just broke up with her boyfriend, who did not propose to her, that she was dating for 5 years, okay? Julie tells herself, oh, I'm over him, toxic relationship, whatever, I'm done. Julie's on social media, she's scrolling. She sees her ex-boyfriend, Jack. Jack is with an even prettier girl. What does Julie feel?
Lack.
Yeah. So now what is Julie doing? Let me look. Who's this new girlfriend? What is her name? Jennifer. What is she doing? I'm gonna go look at Jennifer's profile. Is that proactive?
No.
Is that acting like the creator?
Yes. No.
Would the creator be fishing to see what the, right? What happens? Oh, let me zoom in on her abs. Let me see who she's friends with. How many friends do we have in common? Now what? Did her lack increase or decrease?
Oh, increase.
Yeah. What's the next step? She was feeling great a second ago. The trigger came, right? The challenge came. She's now fishing. She's going down that pattern. She picks up her phone and she's gonna call her ex-boyfriend. She doesn't call, she opens the text message. She can't just say, who is this new girl, right? That he proposed to 3 weeks after he broke up with her that he dated for 5 years, right? What is the first text? Hi. You lost. What are you doing when you're saying hi to him? You're fishing, right?
You're disconnected.
You're fishing. Are you coming from lack?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you being proactive? Are you connected to source? No. What good is going to come from that? You're just headed down. Once that happens, whatever he replies, it's done. It's done. She delayed getting married. She delayed finding her soulmate. She delayed the promotion in her career. Whatever it is, all that light that was waiting for her is delayed. So I'm saying this because I feel like this is a really good, tangible example of what tends to happen, right? We look at social media, and what is social media? It's these snapshots of like these happy people getting engaged every day with their white outfits and their white dog, their white crusty, musty, fluffy dog, right? On the beach, and nobody has cavities, and everybody's happy, right? And we look at that, and it creates this lack in us, right? Where we feel like, I've got all these cavities, and these people with their white clothes and their white dog on the beach getting engaged. That's the life I want, not this cavity noise with people making mouth noises in my face, right? But those, every opportunity, that's to awaken in you. And that's not what we're here for. Our soul didn't come here to have that life. Our soul asked for the life with the challenges so that we could earn the fulfillment, so that we could earn the light. And that's how we're co-creators. So I'm going to end this with affinity, right? Like attracts like, the law of affinity. In order to draw down the light, you have to act like the light. The light is a source of sharing, right? It's a source of giving, right? It's proactive and not reactive. The light is the cause and not the effect. Okay? That we're here, our purpose here is to have those challenges, and in those moments to be proactive, not when it's easy. To always have that consciousness be connected to source. Am I missing anything? Pause. What a pleasure. Okay? The next class, we're going to build on that. Any thoughts, concerns?
I have
Yeah?
a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to stay in flow?
Yes, that's the
consistently?
goal.
Even challenges come, you're like, cool, bang, bang, boom, and you just like keep that flow going?
That's the goal. But we're human, right? We're human, and as you know, we're going to learn in the later class, there is this negative energy that's going to,
Yeah, prod at you.
yeah? The goal is to stay in flow. The goal is that comes, okay, I see that. I got a phone call yesterday from somebody who got not the best news from her doctor, right? What is her challenge right now?
Pause, what a pleasure.
What a pleasure. Because there's going to be light behind it. Do you get it? Because you're not the effect of what the doctor said. You're not the effect of what the lawyer said. You're not, I'm happy the stock went up. I'm sad the stock went down. You're not the effect. When you're connected to source, you have the money, you have the health, you have the peace of mind. It's there. You're trying to turn on the light. You're trying to open the door so that you're there. So it's...
Yeah. I can feel myself in flow, and then I feel myself get knocked out of it. And I think what actually keeps me from getting back in flow is getting mad at myself.
Okay, so that's
Getting
where...
angry, like I know what that flow feels like. And I'm like, why am I holding myself back from that by being
So what I was trying to tell her is sometimes the challenge, sorry, my back is to you. The challenge is not the actual challenge. The challenge is the guilt that comes with it.
Right.
Especially for women, our tikkun is guilt. Is guilt and sadness. That's our collective tikkun, right? We're always going to feel that like, ooh, what if I should have done, we're hard on ourselves, right? So maybe that challenge was your scripted thing, and the real
is the inner.
let it go, move on. Feel it, examine it. 1 second when you do something wrong. Let's say like I wronged my child or something. I'm not saying avoid it. Look at it. Get in, look at it